The New World Perspective, by Rob Hemrick. Special thanks. I would like to send an enormous thank you to Ellie Crystal for allowing me to use her site, crystallinks.com, for a lot of reference materials that she has gathered together for everyone's convenience and expansion of knowledge. Thank you. Dedication. I dedicate this writing to my mom, Kim, who, through many years of struggling within the darkened moments that had surrounded many aspects of her life, still managed to make sure that my sister and myself were always taken care of and loved. I would also like to dedicate this writing to my dad, Howard, who had been there for my mother, giving her hope, lifting her up, and loving her when everyone else had turned her away. Thank you both for bringing me up in this world to look past the darkness, to see the light in all, and always stand for what is right. I love you both more than you can ever know. I also dedicate this writing to Sunny, my beautiful soulmate, who has been on this journey to understanding with me, by my side every step of the way, from the depths of our own hell, to the shocking of life and love back through our hearts. Without you, I would still be drowning in darkness. You are my light. I love you. Chapter 1. The New World Perspective. Welcome to the New World Perspective. This document has been put together to show the world a whole new way of looking at things, hence the name, the New World Perspective. Throughout our existence on this planet, knowledge has come and gone, technologies have been wiped out due to time or conquest, empires and civilizations have risen and fallen, meanings behind wars and the true nature of these civilizations lost through time and translation. Even our bodies, for the most part, have lost their ability to operate, or at least we've lost the knowledge as to how to operate it, to its fullest abilities. Did you know that the human body uses less than 20% of its brain and DNA? My point being, a lot of things have changed since the beginning of our existence. A lot of knowledge has been lost over time, especially about ourselves, the human body, our universe, and beyond. What I'm attempting to do through this document is show you that all of the answers to all of the questions that have the human mind and wonder are right in front of you and have been forever, and you control all of it. I know it sounds like a pretty broad statement, but I will be showing you how true it is. What I want from you is to keep an open mind. I am not trying to discredit anyone's work with this document, but I'm trying to show you how everything in our world is connected, bringing knowledge of how our existence works on many levels, unlocking the long-lost information for all, while showing you how to unlock yourself in the process. Also, please do not steer away from reading this at some point, because of a lack of understanding at first. There are a lot of topics that need to be covered in order to explain everything that exists around us. In doing so, many topics will overlap one another, meaning, sometimes one thing must be explained in order to explain something else, but in order to understand something else there are parts of one thing that you must understand. It sounds confusing, but have faith that the further on you read, the more the previous parts will make sense. In order to understand the workings of our universe, our bodies, minds, energy, history, and the dimensions in which they exist, there will be a lot to take in and understand. I'm aware of this and I will try to explain things on the most simplest of levels, for everyone understanding. For those of you who are understanding in some of these topics, I ask that you be patient and read on. Your perception on what you think you know will be broadened. Though some of my explanations of very complex concepts may seem incomplete or not explained down to its finest point, it is more important that everyone has a grasp on the understanding of the basics of these concepts and not the terminology of the sciences down to its last drop. This will be informative, yet I will try not to make this sound like some boring college lecture. There's quite a bit of this information out there readily available to everyone, but most of it is segregated from other information and sometimes it isn't written in a way that everyone can understand right from the beginning. I will try my best to remedy this. The New World Perspective will cover just about everything that is important to humanity and beyond. I can't really sum that up anymore. I will cover a lot of our history and reason from the beginning of time. Everything that we have done on this planet weaves together with everything else, so it is important that we get the full picture. You wouldn't take sides between friends of yours who are arguing until you got the full picture or everyone's side of the story, right? Then, how can we truly live life to its fullest without an understanding of life to its fullest? In order to do this, we will need to be able to look outside of what we have been taught and open our brains for more knowledge, more understanding, a different look at what makes up our world and what makes up you. This document has the potential to bring everything in our world together and be realized as one. Religions, politics, science, it will all become clear as to how they all tie in together, and I will do so in the most factual way possible with references to as much as I can grab. I've really struggled in finding the perfect way to start this out. It's really difficult to imagine where to start when everything in existence runs in a circle. It's like the question, which came first, the chicken or the egg? One cannot exist without the other, and to sit and dwell on such a question with only partial information could drive a mind mad. In all reality, who can argue over such a thing when no one has a definitive answer? How can there be any validity to fighting over a question that cannot be solved with only partial information? At some point, this was realized and the question now sits on a table waiting for someone to answer it, but until that point, it waits and mocks humanity, who look for answers that are right in front of them. This question, which came first, the chicken or the egg, looms over mankind as a metaphor for our ignorance, and I mean that in most literal of ways. Ignorance, the act of ignoring and keeping oneself from gaining knowledge because of it. If you were to look at it from a scientific point of view, a chicken may have evolved early on as something smaller and gained the ability to lay an egg as its way of reproduction. If you look at it from a religious point of view, God could have made the egg or the chicken first. Both are ideals held strongly, and of course are not the only views, and both are believed by many, though I'm sure most don't care and haven't put that much thought into it. What if our whole existence, our whole lives, and the meaning behind this all, dwells within this question? This is not an opinionated question, yet it's treated that way. This is a factual question without an answer, meaning there is an answer to this question, we just can't see it. What if the egos behind both thought processes have kept them from coming together and forming the true answer? What if this whole time we've been tossing aside ideals that could bring this world together in pure unity just because of a misunderstanding or a lack of knowledge, or more importantly, a total lack of care? Why does religion want to be right and want science to be wrong? Why does science want to discredit religion? These are just generalized questions, and I know that not all people fit into one of these categories or the other. However, this has been the general story throughout our history. Here's a question that should be asked: what if they're both right? Well, I believe they are, and I'm going to show you how and why. Science has shut out religion, religion has shut out science. Every theoretical science is arguing over every other theoretical science, and religions are fighting other religions. Over what? Ignorance and belief in their ignorance. They all choose to segregate themselves from one another and shut out what they were told to shut out, more or less. I'm sure that most of you reading this have had some form of belief in your family/life growing up that was taught to you. Whether or not you've kept up with these beliefs has been completely up to you, but this belief system, whatever it may be, existed in your life at one point. What you may have been taught at this point was that this belief was to be the foundation to whatever you may face in life, and you should be building upon this foundation with events of yourself. However wonderful this may sound, the problem is that the foundations that have been built, for an undefined amount of years, have been based solely on a few ideals, foregoing the rest of the information that exists around us, closing off minds to the rest of the story. If you take this same logic that most people live their lives by, and apply to something else more tedious in your life, it will show that it makes no sense to live like this. For example, if you were teaching a teenager to drive a car, you wouldn't say, "Here's the keys to the car. The key goes in the keyhole on the right side of the steering wheel. Turn it forward to start the car. Good luck and have fun driving." Though the foundation of the knowledge is there, there is a lot of information that wasn't passed on to get the car successfully out of the driveway, to a destination, and back again. So, why do we limit our knowledge? Why do most choose to live their lives with only partial information? What is everyone so afraid of? Are people truly afraid of learning or stepping out of their comfort zone? Are people afraid of the hurt that might come with finding out that what they have believed to be whole truth is just a fragment of the big picture? It's a proven fact that people do not enjoy disappointment. I don't think that anyone can disagree with me on that, but can this be the only reason that has segregated us all on this planet? Fear of the unknown. Can it be true that fear, pride, or a dislike for disappointment can motivate people over time to close out their minds and segregate themselves not only from others, but the openness of their minds for greater understanding, or is there something more to this? Why have we been living the lives that we do? Why do we do the things we do? Why do you get up every day, get dressed, go to work, pay taxes, go home? Of course there's more to your life than this, but this is the foundation of your existence, in America anyway. But why? Is it just because that's what you've been told to do? Is this consistency moving us further in the world as a whole? Are we closer to understanding our existence because of this monotonous lifestyle, or is there much more for you to understand about what's going on? There is a much bigger picture to look at than the daily grind that we all are living. There is a very complex system in place all around us that doesn't just revolve around the minor successes and failures in one person's life. There is a web of a world that we are all tied to. There is a weaving of lives and energy that we have created in the world we know that has led us down this road of ignorance. In order to understand what our purpose is here, what our ultimate goal is, we must look down to the very bottom of what makes us us. We must also take a look at what we make up, our larger selves, what we are a part of. This is where we'll begin.